What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another video. Today I am tearing into the suspension and front brakes on my cheap E46 I picked up a few months back. I got my angle kit installed. I'll show you guys that in a second. That's the only thing I've updated since my last video on this car. And yeah, so I hate doing brakes. Hopefully these are easy. And the coilovers I bought from a guy on Facebook should be arriving any minute now at my house. So hopefully by the time I've got this thing broken down and the old stuff out, the new stuff shows up. So this is the car in the air. I'm just gonna go to full lock this way. And that's full lock, which is actually a ton of angle. And then I'll go to full lock the other way. Which is also a ton of angle. And if I go in here, you can see I've got my SLR kit. It's super dirty right now. I may have done some donuts in the snow, so I haven't washed the car yet, but yeah, SLR kit's all bolted up. I am gonna double check all of this today, just because it could have loosened up since I've been driving it. And so yeah, car's in the air. I leave this one in here just to be safe. There are floor jacks in the sides. I'm also working in a garage that's basically a furniture store at this point. All of our summer furniture is in here, so if you see a bunch of junk in the background, that's why. It's the only space I can work on the car and have all of my tools on our workbench. Yeah, there's just stuff everywhere. To put things into perspective, I'm going from this, which is like nasty corroded on the inside, disgusting on the front and the whole edge. Really gross. So we're going from that to these brand new shiny rotors. I was gonna go drilled and slotted with these, but I figured the regular standard brake rotors would be just fine. This car doesn't have all that much horsepower. I know we'll stop way better with these, definitely compared to the old ones. Driver's side installed. Did that one a lot faster than the passenger side, which is also done. If there's one thing I could tell any single person thinking about buying an older BMW, always have a blowtorch on hand no matter what job you're doing. I don't care if it's brakes or suspension or whatever you're doing, have a stinking blowtorch. I use this thing so much today. I was using it on like the rear caliper bolts. I know you can't see right there. Basically, I used it on the rear caliper bolts. I used it on the little nut that holds the rotor on. That's for the most part. But when I did my angle kit, I used it like a million times. So, like I said, if you're gonna get an old BMW, get a blowtorch. It'll help. On today too, yesterday night I got the front brakes all done. Coilovers didn't show up until today while I was at work, so as you just saw, pop these guys out of the box. I got some Godspeed Monomax coilovers. I actually got these from a guy through Facebook Marketplace, so instead of paying like 900 bucks for them, I got them for like 500 bucks. They seem to be pretty decent. I think this is at the higher end of what Godspeed makes. And you don't really hear a lot about this brand, so I'm hoping to test these out, and I'll definitely be posting videos after a certain amount of time, kind of going over how I like them. I had BC coilovers on my last car, my M3, so these should be a bit interesting. I went with, these are a 12K, 10K spring rate, so I believe the front is 12, the rear is 10, and yeah, that should work out perfectly for the drifty boy here. Okay, of course it only seems natural that the angle kit doesn't drop down because there's not that much slack in the actual suspension itself in terms of the angle kit, which means that the strut, the factory one, will not drop down low enough for, like, these will clear out, but I cannot get it out of the sleeve back here. So I'm gonna have to unbolt the knuckle of the angle kit in order to drop this out far enough for that sleeve to come out, and then I can bolt the new coilover in. This really sucks and is a major pain in the butt. But sometimes you run into things like that. Honestly, that's the least of my worries, so easy fix. Side 2, which is the passenger side, all bolted in, all finished up, kit's all tightened up. You can see up here, we got camber plates, which I'm assuming once I put my wheels on, I'm gonna need a lot of camber because this strut right here, this factory one, the coilover came up to about here, which means that's a lot of distance, and based on what I can see wheel gap wise, these aren't going to fit without making these boys tilty. Obviously, I can adjust the ride height, which I will be doing. Man, I'm out of breath. It's hard. It's a lot of work, especially by yourself, in a garage, in the middle of winter, when it's cold. And, yeah. You probably noticed, too, I switched to my GoPro. My camera died, so we're rocking this thing for now, which is fine. I'm going to get this wheel up on here, probably both of them. I will eyeball along the camber, try to make it even, drop it on the ground, and see what happens. And there is no room. I'm pretty sure this is just tire rubbing in the wheel well liner, and this isn't gonna work. I'm not gonna be able to turn with this wheel setup at how extreme this is. So definitely got to go up quite a bit. And this was like, it was 6 degrees of camber when I had it in the air. I think I have this thing figured out. Kind of tucking front of the tire. This side's a little bit higher, but that's gonna compensate for when I get in the car. It'll weigh this side down a wee bit more. And the other side looks a bit like this. So this side is actually tucking the top of the tire up in there. These are 45 sidewalls, so they're not low pro or anything like that. And I got about 5 degrees of camber, negative camber in there. And I'll definitely pull this thing out either tomorrow or the next day to get some better shots. But it's super close to the front of that fender, so I'm hoping I can still turn at full angle and all of that. I'll probably end up having to trim the wheel liners. On the M3, I took them completely out. It was really noisy, and you could hear like rocks sitting all the time. So on this car, I might consider trimming the top section where the tire might hit if you hit a bump, and that way I'll still have the guards in the rear of the fender and the front to block any like rocks and all that garbage from like flying in there, at least as easily, because it was really noisy on the M3. But now I'm going to go to the back, push this thing in the air, and put on some jacks, take the wheels off. While I'm in there, I'm going to try to tighten up the handbrake a little bit. I know it's kind of tight when you're like stopped, but going downhill, I was pulling it and it wasn't really doing a lot. So I'm going to try to tighten that up as well while I'm back there. It should push down and pop right back up. And this factory one doesn't. So that's done. And as I anticipated, the rear spring itself looks like it was broke. Most of them do break. My M3s were broken when I pulled them out. I anticipated these being broken. So now all I gotta do is put in the new spring with a little perch, bolt the new shock in, and then I'll adjust the e-brake through here, call it a day. Well, it's been some time, but I finally got the rear dropped on the ground. I added a 20mm spacer. I had them laying around, so I figured why not. And it actually filled out the wheel well, as good as it could with these stock wheels. But that's kind of what we're looking at for right now. Obviously, I'll probably go aftermarket wheels in the future. But in here, I got one finger, so it's super tucked. I'll definitely have to roll this fender and probably modify that wheel liner eventually, but I think right now with how it sits with the camber and everything back here, it's going to tuck just fine, especially when I push on it. Front seems to be tucking pretty good. So, yeah. Actually, from this angle, it's tucking a lot of tire. If it rubs, I'll probably just pull the wheel spacer out. Front looks pretty meshed. I am on wood blocks in the back right now, so it looks super slanted, at least to me. But, yeah. So, obviously, I have no idea how this alignment's going to be. I might try to take it for a quick drive tonight. Okay, so the alignment is super whack on this car. It's like pulling to the right and it's like darty. Definitely needs to be looked at. I didn't really mess with it too much. I just, you know, put the coilovers on. I knew the alignment was straight when it had the angle kit, but not the coilovers. But I think the different camber and everything obviously threw it off. So I'm going to have to go back in and play with all of that a different day. For now, I have to go pack. We're going up north tomorrow, so expect a ski vlog sometime early next week, hopefully. And yeah, hit that like button and subscribe. This car's coming together slowly but surely. I mean, it's starting to look cool, minus all the furniture in the background, but it's starting to get there. I mean, the stance is close. I know these coilovers can go much lower, and yeah, we'll get this thing ripping. So, like I said, hit that like button, subscribe so you won't miss anything, hit that notification bell, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.